Heading to Belfast, because that's where my mother's from. She used to bring us up here quite a lot when we were little kids to visit my granny and granddad.
I loved going to Belfast because I loved my grandparents and stuff, but it was so scary. My grandmother and grandfather lived in one of those classic red brick roads that you always see when anything about the Troubles. That's where they were.
It's great to be back in Belfast because I do have happy memories. Being right here is sort of scary because this is the entrance to Sandy Row, and this was an absolute no-go area. Like where my grandmother lived and grandmother lived, when we came to visit, we couldn't park the car there because we had a southern registration. So we had to go to a Catholic area, park the car, and even I remember once my father got lost in here, and we were walking around, and I'd be gabbling on, and my father was like, "Shut up, shut up," because if anyone heard our voices, we spoke with a southern accent, it would have been trouble. And it's so weird to look at these now because now they're like folk art now, and yet they were so threatening and intimidating back in the 70s. It is neatly done, though, I'll give them that. For terrorists, they like the straight line. Not all about the anarchy. How are you? You doing all right? Good. They seem nice. They're driving an Audi. Who knew?
Graham's come to the Belfast General Registry Office to search for more information about his great-grandmother, Mary Dooey.
Well, I've got my grandmother's birth certificate, so I'm just going to see if I can find any record of her parents and when they got married. So, find groom's surname. Reynolds, James. No, she was Dooey, D-O-O-E-Y. D-O-O-E-Y. I'll just do that. No records found. Do you want to find again? Yes. My gut reaction is to change the Dooey to Logan. Because on the back here it has the, Mary Dooey and in brackets Logan. So maybe there's some confusion over her name. Oh. Ballymena. 1895. I found them.
Although she called herself Dooey on her daughter's birth certificate, Mary's maiden name is registered as Logan on the Belfast database. She was married in a church in Ballymena, about 30 miles from Belfast. Graham's on his way there to search for the original marriage certificate, which may hold more clues about why Mary used the name Dooey. Genealogist Nicola Morris is going to help Graham interpret the parish documents.
Under lock and key.
Wow.
Now, there's a fair few here. There are only some of our records, I have to say. Now, there's the baptisms and marriages. That seems to be the one. I think you'll...
All right.
With Canon Lloyd, they checked the marriage register for 1895, the year of Mary's wedding to James Reynolds.
Good order.
They're very legible, aren't they?
Yes,
97, 96, 5. November 5th, James Reynolds.
There you are, that's it.
There it is. Is that Logan or Logan?
Logan, I think.
Logan is what they thought it was.
Yes.
And she was a spinster.
Always good to know, yes.
20. And she is from a hochel. But there's no father now here.
There's no father mentioned.
The marriage certificate confirms Mary's maiden name as Logan, but her father's name is not listed.
To me, the interesting thing here is when you get to the birth certificate I have for my grandmother, it says that her name, she's Mary Reynolds, but it says formerly Dooey.
Right.
That was her maiden name, not Logan.
Well,
now is that to do with the father, do you think?
That's possible, yeah. One of the reasons why somebody's father wouldn't have been recorded on their marriage certificate is that their father's name was not on their birth certificate, which would suggest that they were illegitimate.
So that could be her mother's maiden name. She reverted back to her own mother's maiden name.
It could be her own mother's maiden name.
The marriage certificate hasn't identified the origins of the Dooey name, but it has confirmed Mary's place of birth as a Hochil. Her baptism record should still be held there. But before he leaves Ballymena, Graham checks the baptism register of Mary's own children. It reveals another secret about her life.
So you're looking for Reynolds, obviously.
This is Margaret Jane. When was she born?
She was born on the 5th of December 1895 and then baptised 30th of January.
Hello. That was quite a tight wedding dress. She was so far gone when she got married.
There's only a month.
A month? That does really shock me, because even now you'd get a bit of a move on down the aisle. My grandmother would have been mortified if she'd known this. That her mother had been 8 months pregnant going down the aisle.
Married.
Because just my grandmother was so strict. Even my mother would be so mortified. Well, that really is a bombshell. You can't imagine the shame of that. To be 8 months pregnant walking down an aisle. I suppose what I'm thinking about is good, I'm not the first person to bring shame on the family. But in terms of unconventional living, you can't imagine it being the happiest day of her life. Okay, there could be a theory that she found herself pregnant and went hunting for a man to marry her and make a decent woman of her. I don't believe that. You'd have to be a very nice man to walk someone down the aisle at 8 months. So I'm sure he was the father. Maybe she just stuck her head in the sand. This is the biggest problem imaginable. I'm pregnant, I have no husband, I'm living at home. I've been in that mindset where you just thought, if I just ignore this problem for as long as possible, maybe it'll go away. But in the end, they bit the bullet and they did it. They got married. It seems so long ago, and yet it wasn't. Because I'm thinking, this isn't generations ago. This is my grandmother's parents.